I have 7 o'clock if you do.
Yes.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'll ask for everyone to please rise so we can begin our March 13th meeting. We will begin with a short prayer and then a salute to our flag. Almighty God, grant us the wisdom to make those decisions that are in the best interest of all of our residents. May the Heavenly Father of us all bless those who have given the ultimate sacrifice and service to our nation, and may He watch over and protect our servicemen and women now guarding the gates of freedom. A salute to our flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may all be seated. At this time, I'll ask for the statement of publication, please, Jessica.
Take notice that this regular meeting of the Mayor and Borough Council being held on Monday, March 13, 2023, has been posted and advertised in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975.
Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Balca.
Here.
Conti.
Here.
Novak.
Here.
Anoha.
Here.
Roberts.
Here.
Zabrowski.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'll ask for the approval of prior minutes of the Mayor and Council. Council President Anoa, please.
Hello, Madam Mayor. I want to take the moment to even thank you. And I'd like to, at this moment, motion to approve, with subject to a correction if necessary, the following minutes for February 13th, 2023, regular and agenda session, and February 27th, 2023, special and executive session.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Anoha.
Yes.
Balca.
Yes.
Conti.
Yes.
Novak.
Yes.
Roberts. Zabrowski.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, a very exciting evening yet again for tonight. We do have some swearing-ins, I believe, in store for today. Are all participants here with us today, Jessica?
Yes.
Okay, so we are going to begin with the swearing-in of Captain David Erla. At this time, I'll ask that the council please rise, do our usual chair shift as necessary. And I will ask for Captain David Erla to please come forward where Jessica will begin with our swearing in. Thanks, Jess, if you don't mind moving over just a bit so I can also see. Okay, are we all set, Jessica?
Yes.
All right, wonderful. You may begin.
I state your name.
I, David Erla,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state under the authority of the people,
and in this state under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly perform
impartially, and justly perform
all the duties of police captain
all the duties of police captain
of the Borough of Saraville
of the Borough of Saraville
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Captain Erla. At this time, we usually send you down after you get your hugs and pictures to be congratulated by our Borough Council.
Sure.
So he pretends
Everyone
now.
down the line.
Oh, okay.
Congratulations.
Captain Erla, congratulations from way over here. I don't know if you can see me. It's an honor to always work with you, and thank you for continuing to serve our borough well. Please stay safe and know that you have a lot of support, and we are so appreciative of all you do. With that, I believe that we also have Sergeant Chris Engelbrecht here today as well.
You guys gonna have to shift in a little bit this way, closer to me so you can. I state your name,
I, Chris Engelbrecht,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state under the authority of the people,
and in this state under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly perform
impartially, and justly perform
all the duties of police sergeant
all the duties of police sergeant
of the Borough of Saraville
of the Borough of Sayreville
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Sergeant. Pictures, of course. And it's hard for me to see. I can just barely see the left, but I think we're getting some more photos, right? Sergeant Engelbrecht, thank you so much. You know how much I love seeing you in the building for a while. Congratulations to you, and thank you for all of your service. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, we're now going to move forward once the chairs come back. Some more applause to both Captain Erla and Sergeant Engelbrecht. Congratulations, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'll ask our borough attorney if we have any need for executive session at this time.
No.
Okay, thank you very much. Then we're going to move forward with our old business. We have public hearing on at least one ordinance that I see, ordinance number 4-23.
Correct. Ordinance
Okay.
number 04-23, an ordinance banning smoke shops and vape shops as a permitted use in any zone district in the Borough of Saraville and requiring licensure for all existing smoke shops and vape shops.
At this time, I'll open to the public for any and all comments relating to ordinance number 04-23. If you wish to speak, please raise your hand and step forward or raise your hand online. Attendees, I see none on my side, Nicole, for attendees. Anybody in public?
No.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that, then I'll entertain a motion. Planning and Zoning Committee, Councilman Anoha, please.
Hello, Madam Mayor. I may not be able to motion according to the script, if possible, from a hybrid position, unless maybe the clerk is willing to assist me. But I am willing to make the motion for the public hearing to be closed on ordinance 04-23 and for a vote to be taken on final roll call.
All right, Christian, I move the public hearing be closed, the ordinance adopted on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Thank you so much.
So moved would be sufficient. Can you just,
Second.
thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Anoha,
Yes.
Falca,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Novak,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
Okay, at this point, I have several appointments to make. I'll begin with the Board of Adjustments. I would like to make the appointment of Dominic Castlegrand and Joanne Godstein.
Mayor, I had a question for the attorney because the zoning ordinance says you can't hold a position in the borough or in the municipality and be on the zoning board. He was getting some information for us.
If I may, Mayor.
Yes, you may, of course.
So Committeewoman Novak was kind enough to, Councilwoman Novak was kind enough to reach out to me for some legal advice. And while I didn't have enough time, it was really just off the cuff here before the meeting. I didn't have enough time to really present a thorough legal analysis. I was able to communicate with our senior partner in our land use department, who's very knowledgeable about this. And he said, absolutely, you can be a member of the police department and be on the zoning board. But I will get back to you and cite the appropriate statute so we know where that authority comes from.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. With that, I would be appointing Dominic Castlegrand. We have a 4-year member position.
On which,
To
which,
replace William Henry, and the other 4-year vacancy would be Joanne Godstein.
there's two other 4-year members. One expires in the end of this year and one in 2024.
I would prefer the 2024 for, okay,
Which
For
one?
Dom-
Godstein.
for, yes, for Joanne Godstein, and then Dominic Castlegrand for the other expired term, I think was 2023.
I thought you said you were replacing Dominic Castlegrant with Bill Henry.
I apologize. Yes, that's correct. I'm working off of an older sheet
okay.
here. So yes, my appointment for Dominic Castlegrand, I believe, was the William Henry, and then for the 2024 appointment would be for Joanne Godstein.
I need a motion to accept those appointments. Okay.
Okay, did you want me to go through the remaining, or are we going to motion and have a second for that?
The attorney said to do a separate vote for each of one of those persons.
Okay, that's fine. So we'll begin then with Dominic Castlegrand for the appointment of William Henry's position for the 4-year membership term. I'll need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Is there a roll call, please?
Councilperson Zanoha,
Yes.
Balca,
Sean, can I vote on this one? Because he's replacing the.
I don't want to replace Bill Henry with a new person.
Yes.
Conti,
This one is Castlegrand, we're doing, right?
yes.
He's taking Bill Henry's.
Novak,
I'm going to abstain.
Roberts,
Yes.
Zabrowski,
Yes.
The final vote on that was, Jess, because I couldn't hear all the votes.
5-1.
Okay, thank you. We're going to move forward then with Joanne Godstein for the 4-year membership with an expired term for 2024. I would need a motion and a second for that as well.
Motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilperson Zanoha,
Yes.
Balca,
Yes.
Conti,
No.
Novak,
I'm abstaining.
Roberts,
Yes.
Zabrowski,
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I am going to move forward with additional appointments at this time. For your municipal prosecutor, I'd like to appoint Scott LaMountain.
I make
If
a
you'd like-
motion to appoint Scott LaMountain as municipal prosecutor.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Roberts,
Yes.
Balca,
Yes.
Conti.
Yeah.
Novak,
Yes.
Enoha,
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'll then move forward with our public defender. The mayor's appointment would be Lee Marshall. Is there a second for the mayor's appointment? I'm sorry, is there a motion and then a second?
Yeah, I'll make the motion. Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Novak,
Yes.
Balca,
Yes.
Conti. Public Defender Jennifer Lee Marshall. Enoha,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're then going to move forward with the mayor's designee for the Middlesex County Solid Waste, which would be Elise Barone.
All right, just give me, wait, let me find it.
Go ahead.
Okay, I got it.
Okay. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second for that?
I think I made the.
Oh, actually, it's the mayor's designee, so it doesn't need a motion. I believe that's my appointment. Is that correct? I'll just double check with our attorney.
I would ask for a motion, Mayor.
Okay. May I please have a motion then to confirm the mayor's designee?
Second,
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Novak,
Yes.
Balca,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Enoha,
Yes.
Roberts,
yes.
Zabrowski.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, moving on to the Community Block Grant Administrator, I'd like to appoint Gwen Knight, with the alternate being Denise Biancamano. Is there a motion and a second?
Motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Enoha,
Yes.
Balca,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Novak, Enoha, no, I'm sorry, Roberts,
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Okay, thank you again. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on to our Cerebral Alliance Family and Ed Committee. I'd like to appoint James Novak to that position. Is there a motion and a second?
I make a motion to appoint.
Okay.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Roberts,
Yes.
Balca,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Novak,
Abstaining.
Enoha,
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
Okay, and last but not least on this list, we have the liaison to the Veterans Alliance. Under discussions with those involved in our Veterans Alliance, I would like to keep those members in place. So I'm just going to read them as they are listed on our appointment sheet. For the one-year term, VFW Memorial Post 4699, Ken Kelly. 1 year VFW Memorial Post 4699, Stanley Drawl. 1 year VFW Memorial Post 4699, Stanley Prisblowski. 1 year American Legion Post 211, Joel Bloom. And 1 year American Legion Post 211, Frank Terrazino. Ladies and gentlemen, is there a motion and a second to accept the Veteran
I make a
Alliance?
motion to accept the liaison to Veterans Alliance as the mayor had stated.
Councilpersons Roberts,
Yes.
Balca,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Novak,
Yes.
Enoha,
Yes.
Zabrowski.
And last but not least, at this point, I'll actually turn over to the Council President Enoha for recommendations regarding the liaison positions relating to Councilwoman June Four's public safety position. Councilman Enoha, please.
Yes. I want to even thank you for the opportunity, Mayor. I even just wanted to confirm that I heard you well. Is this regarding public safety specifically?
That is correct. If you remember at the last meeting with the appointment of, and our new councilperson Zabrowski, we have
Understood.
Councilwoman Anoja's position as public safety. And I do believe that there could be some conflict at least, and I think that Councilman Zabrowski, you would probably be not as comfortable serving in that capacity. So council president, typically we make the appointments through the council for liaison positions. And I'll defer over to council president for that, for those comments.
I understand now more. Thank you for that, Madam Mayor. I think at this point, just because of the nature of the changes within our council through, the tragic departure of, most Councilman Jumpour, I think at this point, maybe it would be better if maybe as a council, we readjust some of the positions, regarding public safety. And perhaps we switch the post for Councilman Jumpour, now Councilman Zabrowski, with one of the other departments, So if even for me, I wouldn't even mind to make a motion if it's possible or within the structure of our meeting right now to see how we can make that adjustment. And for me personally, it will be Councilman Zabrowski's public safety position.
If I may,
To, well, one moment,
I
please.
just wanted to have the
if I-
council president.
If I can finish our, if I can, I'm not sure if I heard background, but if I can finish this point, if possible, and I appreciate the time. Sorry for taking too long here, but if it's allowed within our structure, which is what I want to confirm at this point in the meeting, if we can make a motion, for a change for the public safety liaisonship from Councilman Jumpour, now Councilman Zabrowski, for perhaps even Councilwoman Roberts. So that's even a more I'd like to put forward if possible. And maybe if our attorney or our mayor, as we preside over the meeting, will confirm if such a motion will be allowed at this point.
It's my understanding that a motion is appropriate at this point. If Councilwoman Roberts, in looking at the liaison positions in order to cause the least amount of disruption, Councilwoman Roberts, if you were amenable to serving on the Public Safety Committee as the liaison, that would allow for Councilman Zabrowski to then take your position as Water, Sewer, and Environmental, and then allowing him to serve in Eunice's other positions that would pose the least disruption.
Mayor, I did have a discussion, and because that would cause the least disruption, I will miss the Water and Sewer and Environmental Commission. I do plan on continuing with environmental because they're a great group of people and I am part of the community garden. So they haven't gotten rid of me completely yet. And to best serve Sayreville and the public so that there are no conflicts, I would be happy to step up and allow that switch to happen if Councilman Zabrowski is also amenable to that.
If I could just take a moment, yes, in fact, I appreciate that, and I appreciate the fact that you were able to accommodate this request. I understand it could be inconvenient, but given the circumstances, I think it's most appropriate. I was quite uncomfortable with the idea of having to serve on that committee as its chairman, so I think this is the least inconvenience for all. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. As a council, these are the things that none of us anticipated we would have to make a decision, but it's nice when we can all come together. Councilman Roberts, I know how much you will miss Water and Sewer, I'm sure. But you will, of course, will always have a say in what goes on there. I know that they liked working with you. And Councilman Zabrowski, a lot to learn over there. So enjoy. With that, we are now up to new business.
Wait, we need a second and we need a roll call.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, do we have a second and a roll call for the liaison position?
Second.
Councilperson Zanoha,
Yes.
Alka,
Yes.
Conti, Novak,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, do we need to do the reso read in full at the end of the next group, Nicole, Jessica?
Yes, we got to open the other ones first to the public.
Okay, just checking. Okay, under new business, I don't see any additional ordinances. So at this point, I'll open to the public for any and all comments regarding consent agenda resolutions at this time. Please step forward or raise your hand to be heard. I do not see anyone online. Is there anybody in person?
No.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, then I'll entertain a motion to close the public portion and accept consent agenda resolutions.
I move the consent agenda resolutions. First, close the public portion and the consent agenda resolutions be approved on roll call vote.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Novak,
Yes.
Balca,
Yes.
Conti, Enoja,
Yes.
Roberts, Zabrowski.
Yes.
At this
All right.
time, we'll go to the reso to be read in full. Jessica?
Resolution number 2023-73, be it resolved that the proper borough officials are hereby authorized to purchase through NJPA Sourcewell contract one new Labrie Automizer right-hand 33 cubic yard side loader from Sanitation Equipment Corp., 80 Furler Street, Totowa, New Jersey, in an amount not to exceed $353,254.81.
At this time, I'll open for the public for any and all comments regarding this resolution that was read in full. Seeing none online, is there anybody in person?
No.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to close the public portion and accept the resolution that was read in full.
So moved.
Second?
Yes.
Got it.
Councilperson
call.
Novak,
Yes.
Balca,
Yes.
Conti.
Hey, can I just make a comment before? I do want to, I'm thrilled about this for starters. This means a heck of a lot to our Public Works Department and in turn to our residents as well. We just scooped up a one-arm loader for the sanitation, which is really important. We're down trucks. We need trucks. And Glenn, and I want to thank Glenn for swift action. And I know it seemed like he picked up on some words that Councilman Balca shared, and he pounced on it after that. And so this truck is coming to us from South Amboy. South Amboy was going to switch over to the one-arm loaders, and they decided they changed their mind. And they had this truck that was on order and was coming to them. And I know in conversations, Councilman Balca mentioned it, and Glenn said, whoa, wait a second. That's what we're using here. So he contacted South Amboy, and they worked out a nice arrangement for, instead of them rejecting this truck, for us to take hold of it, because we've got trucks on order. We had one in the budget. So it just made perfect sense. It was win-win all around for everyone. And the best part about it is that those prices are from a couple of years ago. So 2021 prices, those prices are probably now about 400,000, maybe more. I don't know exactly, but they're definitely way up from that. And I think the cherry on top from what I heard about it was we're able to use leftover COVID funding from last year, which it was COVID, or was it the relief fund? The ARC, yeah. So we were able to use money that we received in the borough, and it doesn't even come out of our budget, which is, I mean, that's tremendous. You have a $353,000 expense, doesn't come out of the budget, and fills a major gap for us. So I just want to really thank everybody involved and the folks in South Amboy for actually working with us on this. They surely could have said, nah, I don't want to do that, and for whatever reason, but we got a great relationship there. So I'm happy they came together and they made this deal. It's really, really good for our town, for our departments. So I'm very happy about that. I just want to thank all that were involved. And I'm obviously an emphatic yes on that.
Enoja,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
All right, can I have a motion, please, to accept the correspondence listed on the agenda for this evening?
I move the consent correspondence be received and filed.
Second.
Councilpersons Novak,
Yes, and I
Balca,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Enoja,
Yes.
Roberts, Zabrowski.
I would
All
like
right.
to thank Mike Gaines and Mark Zimbricki for their dedicated service.
Absolutely, second that for sure. With that, we're going to move on to the mayor and council reports, administration and finance to begin. Councilman Balca, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We met last Tuesday to go over the budget, and we're going to be introducing a budget at the next meeting with a 4.5 cent increase. Some of the major areas that we really can't control, the expenses went up on are salary and wages, $869,000, group insurance, $205,000, matching funds for grants went up $390,000, gasoline, $130, debt service, $851, and pension for police and fire went up $221. So our hands are really tied. We really can't cut those numbers. So unfortunately, we're going to be introducing them at a 4.5 cent increase and progress in all other areas.
Can I just ask you a question, Councilman Balco? What was the increase under the group insurance rates? I think you gave two numbers. Did you give group and individual or something?
The group insurance was 205,000.
205,000?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, was there another cost over there with our insurance that you had also quoted?
Pension, but that's not insurance.
Yeah, no, okay. And what was the increase on the group
Pension.
insurance? 205,000, you said?
205,000, yes.
Reason for that increase?
We only went up 3.4%. Most of the people, state health benefits all went up like 22%. So
Yeah, no, that's what I wanted to just check and see. It was a 3.4% increase. And hold on, let me just do, okay. I just wanted to check those numbers. Thank you. I have nothing. Thank you very much, Mr. Belka. We're going to move on to public safety then. Councilman Conti, please. I'm sorry, that's not accurate at this point. We'll move, unless you have reports, Councilman Conti, because
Yeah.
we. that's
Yeah, I
with-
might as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead, please.
All right, thank you. Oh, hey, Dan, is there 5 million in the budget for the roads?
Now it's 5. Yep.
we didn't go over capital in great detail yet. We're going to hopefully do that among ourselves before we adopt.
All right, good. All right, so a few things. I know there's no major reports. So I too want to thank the gentlemen in the PD upon their retirement. I want to thank them for their service and dedication to our town. They've been with us for quite some time, and it takes a lot of sacrifice for them to do that. We see the new individuals getting sworn in tonight with their children and whatnot, and the PD takes a lot away from their family, no doubt, working on holidays and weekends, et cetera. And to do it for such a long time, I think is really commendable. So I do want to thank the gentleman upon retirement. Zabricki and Gaines. I just wanted to get those names out there again. So I do want to thank them. And I want to point out the good thing about folks retiring. I mean, the bad part is you lose the experience. The good thing is that, and they're both lieutenants, it opens up opportunities for others, which is really what we want to, any good organization, you want opportunities for those within. And this is going to create some nice opportunities for others. Going from sergeant to a lieutenant is really is a nice event for somebody who's working hard for us. So I like the fact that it's going to create opportunities from within our force. And then obviously it takes somebody else from patrol up, everybody moves up in this. So it's nice. I really, that's the benefit. That's the good part about the retirements. Yeah, the experience we lose, but then we promote from within and it's opportunities for others. So I'm really happy about that portion of it. So a couple of things. I did speak with, I spoke with Sergeant Braille and Mr. Gowron from Department of Public Works. I would like to, I have them pursuing a flashing yellow crosswalk sign on Ernston Road where they opened up the new Dunkin' Donuts. I think that there's a lot of foot traffic over there and especially kids. A lot of kids are walking over there. And I know the folks, the seniors up in the homes there as well. Ruth Ann Mahoney is someone I talked to on that topic quite a bit. And I know she's been asking about getting the flashing yellow. So I think we're taking steps. I think some quotes were going to be exchanged. We're going to see what that entails. And I'm optimistic that we'll see a flashing yellow there to help bring attention to the crosswalk so folks slow down on that road as people are coming across. So,
We actually approved that a couple of years ago. Still waiting for it.
okay. All right. So Councilwoman Novak says that was approved a while ago and still waiting for it. So I will certainly continue to pursue. I'll probably team with Councilwoman Roberts. So we make that happen, figure out what to do there. While I was at it, I do want to welcome the folks at the Dunkin' Donuts to the neighborhood. I know they've been in the neighborhood, but it's a new spot for them. So I want to welcome them there and thank them for their business and their engagement in our town. I stopped in the other day. I didn't see the owners there, but I'll catch them another time. Grabbed a frosted blueberry donut and it was wonderful. So anyway, I just want to say thank you to them for being in our town. I did speak with a resident as well about, again, on Ernston Road. Kenny Conklin was talking to me about a dangerous intersection there by Oakwood and Scheid. There was an accident there. Actually, he sent me a picture. The car was up on the sidewalk. So I've got a message into Sergeant Braille there as well to see what we can do about that. If there's signage that needs to go up. I know it's a county road, so he asked about the speed limit. That's going to be impossible. But there may be some other opportunities. So I've yet to connect with Sergeant Braille on it, but I will. I'll loop in Councilwoman Roberts as well to figure out what we could do. Do we need more signage? Was somebody trying to make a left across the double yellow? I don't know what it was, but and I'm sure Sergeant Braille will contact Mr. Conklin and talk about it as well, learn more about the situation and talk about some of the plans there as well. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. All right, just a couple other things. Rent Leveling Board meeting tomorrow, March 14th. Please join virtually if you'd like, just to see what's going on there, to weigh in on that conversation where needed. That's 6:30 tomorrow. We've got, amongst others, Shade Tree is on Thursday as well. That meeting is here in person only, 6:30 as well. They do a nice job at Shade Tree. Art and his team, they really have very thorough meetings, and it's always good. It's always good to take part in that. They'll talk about a lot of the things that we've got going on in town as it starts to warm up with the seedlings and planting around town, memorials as well. So if you can, make it to that meeting as well. I did want to, I feel like I try and go around town and I try and pay a visit to our new businesses, right? I spent a lot of time at Andrew's Studio on Main Street the other day, getting a couple of haircuts and just talking with them about how they grow their business. I'm all for businesses in town. I want more business in town. That's who I'm a main supporter of, our businesses, no matter who it is. So if I find a way to use your establishment and to promote it with others and, just talk about it, I will certainly do that. And I just feel like as we issue new business licenses, I think it's important to mention some of those new businesses, which I'll try to do more consistently. But in January, according to the Board of Health, they issued business licenses to Kumon Math and Reading, 6099 Gas Corp. I don't know all of them, but I'm just mentioning names in case it piques somebody's interest. Red Hawk Indian Arts, Holder Enterprises, 3D Hair Salon, and Limitless Fitness. I know the guys there. They opened up a new spot on Raritan Street. So it's we got some nice businesses coming into town or expanding or maintaining their licenses. And I think it's important for us to know who they are and use those businesses. That's what keeps our town alive, is our businesses. You go outside of town, and I'm at enough restaurants in our town and restaurants and bars. I not gonna lie. They all need my business. So I spend a lot of time at a lot of these businesses because it's important to me to build on what we've got in our town. If I go outside of town more than I stay in town, it doesn't help any of our folks here. So, you know, I just want to say that I just want to bring it to everybody's attention about the businesses and support your local businesses. I think it's important for us. So I want to thank them for being in town and for serving our community. And on that note, I think I am, hold on, let me look, because I know it never comes back to me. You know, listen, I didn't have a chance last week. I wasn't here in person, John, but I just want to welcome you to the council. And that's it for me. So thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Councilman Conti, does that take care of Public Works also?
Yeah, that's, well, actually, I, 2-second comment on that, sorry. I know CMEJ, we're getting things together with roads. So maybe as we move along in that process, you're just going to alert us to, and I know we'll probably see it, but just alert us to when we're getting out there, the first road we're getting out there to pave or to restructure and so on. How soon we're getting out there and doing it as you get the updates. I know you're designing and bidding. So as soon as you hear the first news about when we're getting out, just let us know so we can talk about it. That's it.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're going to move on to recreation now. Councilman Novak, please.
Okay, summer camp registration opens on March 15th, and a reminder of our Easter egg hunt, April 1st at 9 a.m. on the turf fields behind Borough Hall. All children ages 3 through 10. Also, Human Relations Commission, we discussed, will be more information to come, but the fun run, I believe it's May 13th, the same day as the fishing derby at Kennedy Park. So that's, you know, fun for all. And Office on Aging and Sarah, we haven't had another meeting since the last meeting. So I guess be a report at the next council meeting. Thank you. Progress.
All right, thank you very much. Water, Sewer, Environmental, Councilwoman Roberts, please.
Thank you, Mayor. And yeah, I do want to thank whoever it was that decided not to go into the state health benefits with that 24% increase. One of the things I want to share today is I did attend the budgeting for elected officials. That was a number that was passed around and people are really feeling the hurt. So very glad that we're not participating in that. I have a couple of things to talk about. Lewis Bay Second Future Municipal Leader Scholarship Competition. We're wrapping up the last of the essay entries to submit our Sayreville entry for the opportunity to get a $1,000 grant. So we'll be picking that shortly. I do want to let everyone know the master plan survey is on our website, sayreville.com. On the homepage, the master plan serves as a policy document for the borough that guides the use of lands within the municipality. The master plan is a roadmap for the next 10 years and is the basis of zoning within the borough. So this is your opportunity to make your voices heard about how you want to see the borough planned out. So I encourage everyone to take that survey. And if you have any questions, there's also a email on that posting on the homepage so that you can ask your questions too. It's planningbrd@sayreville.com. So if you do have any questions on that. For water and sewer environmental, the community garden will be getting started soon. So we'll be sending out renewals first and then whatever's left for new entries. For planning, I did attend the most recent planning board. There was a new attorney appointed. There are now, thank you, Nicole, redevelopment plans on the website. So if you do go to the sayreville.com website again, on the left-hand side, you'll see a list of links. On that list of links, you'll see it says redevelop. Very last one says redevelopment plans. Go ahead and click that. You'll see all of the redevelopment plans. And if you don't see them, they will be there soon. It's a pretty big list now. There are what, maybe a dozen? Once they're approved, they'll be uploaded, but there's a good amount there. So I recommend everyone go ahead and take a look at that. You'll be very well informed. So we talked about the master plan and survey. Rockville LLC gave a information session about their development, which is behind Casa Verde. So they gave a very in-depth description and layout of what that property is going to look like. A number of residents also attended, asked questions, which were answered. So it looks like that's going to be moving forward also. And we are going to talk about internships again, but we're going to do it a little differently because of scheduling. So we're looking forward to continuing the internship program and maybe just making it look a little different so that we can bring in more of the students to know how our government works. So those are some of the exciting things going on. Did I miss anything? Whose job was it to tell me what I missed? I think that'll do it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Just a quick question for either yourself or Councilwoman Novak. The redevelopment agency meeting going to be held in Borough Hall. I believe is it the 23rd?
That is scheduled for the 23rd.
So I just wanted to make certain that, did we finally reach out using our tech support with Tom to make sure that the secretary there is able to successfully run the meeting from council chambers in order to promote additional continued transparency? I love that we now have the redevelopment plans online, but I do believe that the last two council meetings that request was in fact made. I've made that a very strong point that meeting should be conducted at council chambers, and that the only opposition was that it was difficult to run the equipment. So I suspect then that the 23rd will be advertised that the meeting will be held in borough chambers.
I don't know, but I think that's the chairman's decision, not ours.
And if they-
So
If they couldn't do it that way, couldn't they just do a Zoom? And at least it's available, you post a Zoom.
well,
and
you
it's on
need to
Zoom.
be able to present whatever it is that is going to be presented by professionals that are within the room. So that's one of the issues, is being able to have everybody in that room. The fact that we have this equipment, we invested a lot of money in that equipment. I believe, Jessica, did you send out correspondence to the redevelopment agency?
No, I thought Glenn was supposed to reach out.
Okay, Glenn's not here, so since he's not here, I'm going to request then that you, in fact, reach out, Jessica or Nicole, to the redevelopment agency in preparation for their next meeting on the 23rd, so that they can, in fact, hold their meeting in this public chamber, which is much more accommodating and also has the technology available. And we will make certain that our technology experts will be there in order to assist them with any running of that equipment. Please keep me posted on that, CC me on that, so that way we can see what's going on. I'll also ask that Sean be added to that email correspondence as well.
Okay.
All right, thank you. We're going to move on now to Planning and Zoning, Council President Anoha.
Thank you so much, Madam Mayor, even for the opportunity. I am excited, want to extend extended congratulations to the new members that will be joining our zoning board. And we're looking forward to working with them, to help improve, site plans and, everything that's required to help the function of our borough. And hopefully, I think right now we should be at enough numbers to start our zoning board meetings. So I'm very excited for that, for us to resume. And assuming that's the case with the number that was appointed today. So I do want to thank you for that, and the council for all of us together getting that through. For the planning board, I was very, I want to send a thanks to all of our residents that came out to the last planning board meeting, and even those that even stayed till the late hours of the night to be involved and ask questions regarding, our hearing in the last planning board, which was for, I think was Rockville LLC, well over 100 unit facility, probably beyond about 20 acres within our borough. And, to see the adjustments that they were able to make from the updated application agreements from our settlements. And perhaps Jay will speak towards that if it's necessary for any of the public. But it was, I just want to extend my thanks to those who came out, and I had the privilege of joining virtually, and we're looking forward to even working with our planning board more to see how we can improve the hybrid options, even for our panelists moving forward. But I do want to thank those who took the time out to really be involved and to ask questions and just be aware of what takes place in our borough. We're looking forward to our upcoming meetings, I think by March 15th. So we just want to encourage everyone again to continue to be involved and thank everyone for their current involvement so far. And moving forward, we're expecting more progress and more meetings to come. Thank you so much, Madam Mayor. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Now, I know that Councilman Zabrowski, you technically don't have a liaison position to report today, but I do want to give you an opportunity because I know that you're still involved and you do a lot of other work around the town and you're very involved. So at this time, if you have anything else that you'd like to add under a council report, this is your time.
I appreciate that. And I just wanted to tag on to what Vince was talking about, what's going around town. And I know that Vince and Donna had visited the Bombers Beyond Cafe. Wonderful enterprise between our students and staff with our high school. But more importantly, Wednesday, March 15th, between 8 a.m. and 12 p.m., free coffee and tea. Come and visit. It really is a wonderful enterprise for us to support in our town. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yes, the Bombers Beyond Cafe, you just couldn't ask for a better group of people working together. It just makes me happy. It's hard for me to get over there because I'm actually teaching during that time, so it's tough to run over. But what just impressive young people that we have, and for all of our staff, our employees, and the teachers that are there back and forth. It's so exciting, and I'm just so proud of every single person that had a hand in that. Let's move forward now with our public portion.
Madam Mayor, before we move on to the public portion, if it's possible,
Of course.
from your reports, I'm so sorry. I did have a few residents reach out regarding maybe it's more public safety anyways, but the departure of Councilwoman Jumfor, I did learn that in your capacity as mayor, I think you put out like a Crime Stoppers, and I had some folks reach out to see if there was an update, but I wasn't sure if there were details from your report in terms of, or is this something that should be directed to the police, or is it more from the mayor's report in regards to what that entails?
Thank you for reminding me of that, Council President Anoha. Yes, actually, I can speak on that briefly. It's been about a month now since I've reached out to Crime Stoppers, which is a division of the Middlesex County Prosecutor's Office. I did not hear back from them officially in any capacity regarding moving forward with my request, which was to put out at least a tip line and potentially having them look into also offering a reward for any information leading to information or leading to the arrest of whoever murdered our beloved councilwoman. It is disappointing to hear that there hasn't been any, I guess, approval one way or the other from the prosecutor's division of Crime Stoppers. I did speak very briefly with our acting chief Plumacher in reference to that. And I believe that the prosecutor's office right now is handling a lot of information, a lot of leads, and a lot of other potential evidence, I guess, regarding the case. I don't know because no statements have been made publicly by the prosecutor. And for whatever reason, they don't feel that the Crime Stopper tip line at this time is something they want to put out. I have my own feelings about that, but I'm not going to second guess what the law enforcement agencies that are handling the case are seeing. I don't have that information in front of me. My concern has always been, though, from the moment that this took place, we have to continue as a community to heal and to also move forward with trying to make sure we all feel safe and comfortable. But most importantly, we have to remember to say Eunice's name and to remind everybody that this is an unsolved case. And here in Sayreville, we don't forget those people that we have lost. So I know that our police department is going to do the best that they can in order to see that Eunice's killer is brought to justice. But I don't want this story to just fall in the back. I'm honored to have Councilman Zabrowski here because he can speak on that firsthand. When we've had unsolved cases that have gone on for years, we don't forget. Our police department does not forget. And I can only assume that they feel just as passionately about this situation as well. But I don't have any additional information from the prosecutor's office regarding Crime Stoppers. I do not have any additional information regarding the case itself. I'm hopeful that we will hear something sooner rather than later from the prosecutor or for any other agency that's handling this matter. And I continue to ask that we all keep Eunice's family, her daughters, her parents, her friends, her loved ones in your thoughts and prayers, because this is not something that you heal from overnight. So thank you for your questions, Council President.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm grateful for the information. Thank you.
Thank you. At this point, then, we will open to the public for any and all comments for the good of the cause here in town. If you have a question, please stand up or raise your hand. I see Ruth Ann Mahoney online.
Mayor, it's Sean. May I interject for a second?
Of course you may. Go ahead, Sean.
Just wanted to remind all the members of the public that are participating either in person or by remote to please clearly state your address and your name, not your place of business or your friend's house, but your own personal residence and your name clearly for the record. Thank you.
And also, Sean, I'll just ask that once again, we do have our 5-minute limit here, just in order to make sure everyone has an opportunity to speak. I'll ask that you keep that time for me. And for those people that have multiple things to speak, just know I'm prefer that everybody has an opportunity to speak rather than we bring up people for a second and third bite at the apple. All right. Is that Ruth Ann? Are you in the public portion?
Yes,
now?
I'm here. I'm
Hi,
here.
Ruth. Long
Hi.
time to talk to. Good to hear your voice.
Good to hear you. This is Ruth Ann Mahoney, 2 Gerard Place in Portland. I want to thank Mr. Conti for bringing my concerns to Sergeant Braille regarding the crossings at Ernston Road with ShopRite and Dunkin' Donuts. It is becoming very, very dangerous, more than it has been. The children or teens from the high school are crossing much more now since the Dunkin' Donuts. So, Mr. Conte, I want to thank you and Sergeant Braille for taking to heart my concerns.
Thank you. Anything else, Ruth Ann?
Not right now, but I'll be back another day.
Okay. It's good to hear from you. Take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye. All right, we have Mr. King, Jeff King. Name and address, please, for the record.
Good evening. My name is Jeffrey King. I live at 24 Elizabeth Parkway in Eatontown. I was just listening in and wanted to commend you, Mayor, and the Council President for what you just said about Eunice. She was a very, very tragic loss, and I am sorry that Crime Stoppers hasn't stepped up to be more proactive, but we're gonna keep working on it and not forget her. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Jeff. I appreciate that. Still chokes me up to think about it. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't see anybody else online. Is there anybody in person that wishes to speak? Seeing none, Nicole or Jessica, anybody? Is there someone in the back?
Yes, there's somebody.
Okay, they can please come forward.
Hi, again. My name is Ibrahim Alhari. I live in 10 Outlook Avenue. First question, for the online survey, for I see that on the bottom that like an email is not required. Would it be possible to change this to it's required, just so we could prevent possible, how do we say, feeding of data and like making the data look like how like we're supposed to like state for the record here, like our name and address, so we can make sure like one person, one vote. I want to see if we could possibly change the Google Docs, so make it, to make it so that.
I'll follow up with them. I had a question on one of the questions they had that was a little confusing to answer. So I have a question out for that and I'll ask that question on your behalf. That's
Right, thank you. And then also like maybe, and I know like with all the infrastructure that you guys have invested in technology, maybe we could use something that more in-house besides Google Docs, because Google is known for sometimes having data leaks and it's a lot of information that's going out there about people that live around here and, you know, it's, world ain't on sunshine and rainbows.
Google Docs can also be a little bit on the limited side as well with some access. So I wouldn't want to have people that would like to participate in taking that survey to be limited by the type of form. So I think, was that you, Councilman Roberts, that were going to question, and maybe we can just get our IT team on that also so that we can get the best possible information and data from that survey.
I will contact them to follow up. Yes.
Thank you, Councilman Roberts. Very good points. I appreciate that.
Thanks. Also following up on the mosque, any updates, Councilman Christian?
That might actually go to Sean also, to our borough attorney.
Thank you.
Sean, yeah, sorry.
Sure, Mayor. It's Sean Keen. And I've been reporting to the council as we go through this process. We did have a conference with the judge last week. And essentially, counsel for the community center was arguing that his client wants to get building permits prior to the Board of Adjustment, the zoning board, considering a conditional use variance, which is the opposite of how things usually go. So the analogy would be if there's a piece of property and somebody wants to come in and put a new car dealership on the property, you don't go there first and start laying wire and plumbing and putting in bays for the cars and putting in lifts for the cars because you don't have it zoned yet for the car dealership. The first thing you do is you apply to the Board of Adjustment to see if the town, or in this case, the board, will give you the approval to use the property for that specific use. Doesn't make sense to go in there and start changing the conditions of the property around until you have that approval. So in this case, we argued before Judge Toto that that doesn't really make sense. The attorney, Mr. Sachs, was arguing the opposite way. He was told if he wants the court to consider that approach, that he is to get a pleadings before the judge by Wednesday, 2 days, the 15th of March. If he does make that application, we would have 2 days to the Friday to rebut his argument. But again, it just doesn't make any sense. And we're hoping that if they do file the motion, the pleadings, we're hoping that the court is sensible about this, because the other part of it is, you know, it's a precedent. So whether you're talking about a car dealership or any type of business, it doesn't make sense to give one applicant, or in this case litigant, the ability to go in there and get special treatment. There's a process that should be followed. So right now, the owner of the community center is doing everything he can. He's got a great attorney. They're arguing very hard, but right now it's still before that board. And that's really, it's not really up here anymore. It's not here before the governing body. It's before the appropriate land use board, who are going to be considering the use and all those other issues like parking and lighting and noise and traffic control and all those important things, public safety. And then when you get into the permits, making sure the electric's okay and the plumbing is okay and the ingress and egresses are okay, so that there's proper fire suppression devices and that the exits and entrances are working properly, and all of these things that I'm not an expert in. The town has individuals that do that, and they go in there and make it. So there's a reason for the process. There's a reason for this drawn out process. And at the end of the day, it's safety. It's for quiet enjoyment by all the people in the town, including the neighbors and the people that want to use the community center. So it's pending, to answer your question, a long-winded way of saying it's pending, but it's before the board.
Okay, so no way this Ramadan we're gonna have a mosque in Sayreville.
So your attorney is arguing, somebody else I had heard secondhand was going to approach the town to put up a tent. And again, a tent would require a permit. And the reason for that is there's other things that go along with a permit, such as portable bathroom facilities, for instance. And again, traffic and all those other things like noise and safety issues. So again, it would require a permit if they were going to.
Easier to get a tent daily for JFK Park?
Excuse me?
Would it be easier to just get a tent for JFK Park and just like,
Are you talking about alternative sites?
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
because like,
yeah, so. Yeah,
because I know that like on AIDS, every year, like there's always like the big prayer is always there at JFK. So I was wondering maybe if that'll be something that,
yeah, and I don't want to speak for the business administrator, but I have had conversations with him and he was working with the owner of the community center to find alternative sites.
Okay.
And I'm not sure the status of that, but I know that there has been substantial conversation about that. And that would be a worthwhile pursuit. Additionally, the use of the municipal park for religious service, you know, would require permits.
yeah, of course.
I'm not sure if that process has started yet.
Okay, and then, but do I still have time for one more question?
Yeah, because I took up your
Oh.
5 minutes.
Okay, I see here, so I never saw one of these budgets before. When it says open, that means that it's still hasn't been paid yet, or it's still being paid on the budget thingy?
I'll defer that over to Denise. Are you looking at you're not looking at bill pay, are you looking at the budget itself?
This thing? Oh, bill list. Oh, okay. I'm wondering, I'm curious about one company, the website annual subscription for Q1 and Q2. I see that, I'm assuming this is all taxpayer money because city has several money. I'm wondering if we're paying $2,875 to have. Oh, yeah, sorry. CIT. Yeah, it's on page 3 on the top. CityNet.
Right, that's the company that is handling the website, the design and everything.
Yes, I'm wondering if they could possibly make a mobile friendly one since we're paying this much for it.
We're in the process of updating this thing, so it will be coming up. I'm not exactly sure. It was supposed to be up already.
Okay.
I believe probably sometime at the end of late this month or so. Right. Or the beginning of April, maybe it should be up, and it should be much more user friendly.
Yeah, because like on the phone now, it's like you gotta like zoom in and you gotta, it's a lot.
Yeah, I believe that what you're asking, Ibrahim, is actually something that our IT director is working on right now in order to turn around and try and make this. I agree with you. The cell phone features, it is so not user friendly. It is not even close to scale to what it's supposed to be. That was one of the issues that was being looked at from this overhaul, and it's been quite a tedious task, just dealing with the actual provider of the web page. So that is one of the sticking points that I had. And I think that we can definitely follow up with Tom to see what kind of progress we have as far as the mobile application of our site once it's finally up and running.
Are you bound to this vendor?
I do believe that we are bound to this vendor at this point. Are we not, Denise? I know we had an issue with the initial vendor that we were dealing with that wasn't responding. And then we had to turn around and really kind of kick them into gear. Did we end up finalizing our agreement with them? Because everything we do is via contract, but I don't know if they were actually fulfilling their terms of the contract and if we booted them to bring in the new group.
Mayor, on that, I don't have the answer to that. I'm not sure. I'll have to defer to Danielle or Tom and get information on that.
And once Glenn is back, I know that he's not on the call right now, I don't believe, but I believe Glenn was also handling that. Do you see him on there? I don't see him on there, Nicole.
No, he was having internet issues.
Okay, so yes, this was definitely something that we looked at because the whole overhaul of this process, the web delays were really, really ridiculous. So I can definitely get you an update on that once Glenn comes back. If you want to just follow up, you can follow up via email, either with myself or Jess and get you that info, or we'll just do another update at our next meeting.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you. All right. Anybody else from the public in person? Because I have none online.
Yes.
All right, please come forward.
Good evening, council. My name is Edward Lefty Grimes. I'm with sativacross.org. We're a 501c3 here advocating for cannabis patients' rights and for the rights of the disabled. I was here many months ago with this issue. We did an Oprah request on the cannabis arrests in Sayreville. I'm not sure if you remember, but the listing had all the black and brown people listed as white. And this was disturbing to us because it skewed the stats of Terrible's arrests. And I brought it to the council's attention. Was there anything ever done about that? Was there any resolution or any policy changes done from that situation? Do you remember that?
I do recall that. I think Councilman Conti, did you report on that as far as the way that the accounting went when it came to the way the state broke up?
Yeah,
The-
I do recall speaking about it. I think that, thankfully, Councilman Zabrowski is with us as well. He can speak to it. I know it was a limitation on the forms about how things were reported, but it wasn't our opportunity to change that. It was a form that's provided from a higher authority, and it limited what we were able to indicate on the document. So we weren't able to capture the demographics appropriately. And that was the limitation, because I remember when you mentioned that, we looked into it, and that's what we had found out. It was a limitation on the form, and it didn't allow for us to expand on the population. And I don't know that there's an opportunity for us to fix that, because it's not for us to fix. I think it comes from, as I said, I think it's a county or state. And until they make changes to it, then we just kind of complete the document. So that's what it came down to. I could check it out a little further to see if there's any advancement of that or anything new. But yeah, that's what I recall finding out when we checked it. I don't know. That was a while ago, maybe a year.
Yeah, many months ago.
Yeah.
So do you think other municipalities may be affected if it's a county issue?
I would think so.
Yeah, okay.
I would certainly think so.
I think it was a state issue, but I'm not
State
sure.
issue.
Yeah, I think it was. The form comes from the state, I believe, as I recall. And
Okay.
was limited on what you could check off or not check off.
I'll check it. And if you have your email too, I could probably email you some further topics on it. Because I remember, but some of the specifics slipped my mind.
Yeah.
And I know that there were some more factors around it. So we'll share something in between meetings.
Okay, thank you. As I said, we represent cannabis patients. We need help here in New Jersey. We've been stepped over by corporate cannabis. We don't have home grow. We don't have insurance coverage. And a lot of towns have banned cannabis, medical cannabis. So people in wheelchairs make it very difficult for people in wheelchairs with horrible diseases to get their medicine. So 1 out of 10 of us die. And every council meeting, I say this at every council meeting. It's called the Ode of Remembrance, written 100 years ago. And it's written for all the patients. And tonight I'd like to dedicate it to Eunice. They went with songs to the battle. They were young, straight of limb, true of eye, steady and aglow. They were staunch to the end against odds uncounted. They fell with their faces to the foe. They shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I do not see anybody online. If there's anybody in public that wishes to speak, they can come up now. Just indicate if there's anybody if we're good to close the public.
I move the public portion be closed, Mayor.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ladies and gentlemen, motion
Motion to
for,
adjourn.
is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we're going to move into our second meeting, which is our agenda meeting. Does anybody need a break from the council for a moment?
No.
Okay, if nobody needs a break, then we're going to jump right into the next one. Just give me 1 second so I can roll my next agenda meeting here. We'll begin with a salute to our flag. So once again, I'll ask for everyone in person to stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all very much. You may be seated. Statement of publication, please, Jessica.
Take notice that this agenda meeting of the mayor and council being held this 13th day of March, 2023 has been advertised and posted in accordance with Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975.
Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Balca.
Here.
Conti.
Here.
Novak.
Here.
Anoha.
Here.
Roberts.
Here.
Zabrowski.
Okay, with that, we'll move forward with our general discussion, administration and finance. Jessica, I'm going to refer over to you for everything.
Okay. Authorization to increase liquor license renewal fees from $2,000 to $2,250 in year 2023 and increase to $2,500 in year 2024 for all consumption and distribution licenses, and increase club licenses from 140 to 160 in 2023 and increase to 188 in 2024.
Are those prices competitive prices? Are they low? Are they high? Is that
With the surrounding, remember we tried to increase them, Vince, you weren't here, right before COVID. 2,500 is the max. There are surrounding municipalities like around our size. There's even some that are really small that are at the max.
Okay. Oh, right. If it's at the max, it's the max.
And just, the difference between a club license and a liquor license.
A club license is like the VFW and the American Legion.
Okay.
And the other ones are liquor stores or bars.
Thank you.
We'll be introducing that ordinance at the next meeting. Authorization to request proposals for basic life support and emergency medical transport services.
I'd just like to confirm that this is just, so there's, I know we had a lot of questions from the first aids. This is just a renewal, basically. We're going out for RFPs again.
Correct.
You know, because the other contract has reached its maximum amount. And this is strictly for the same hours that is right now, 6 to 6.
Yeah, I can double check with Danielle. She's handling that proposal and let you know.
But that's what you think.
That's what I,
Okay. I just want.
As far as I know.
And I will get back to you directly with Danielle, but that is my understanding. That's.
Authorization to amend section 12-1.3 construction fees. An ordinance will be introduced at our next meeting. Coin toss request for the corner.
Are we having any discussion tonight? No, we're going to have discussion at next meeting on that.
Which one?
The construction fees.
It's going to be introduced at our next meeting. I think it's,
Yeah, I saw that and I have to, and I have to be honest. I was disturbed by it only because I know fees are what they are, and fees are expensive, particularly for the average homeowner. And if we're now going to have a preference fee, basically to get your, I guess, your application or your permit or your inspection done when you want it, I think that's problematic. I really do. I think from a homeowner, these fees are excessive. I think from someone who's had construction permits, our people do great jobs trying to accommodate scheduling. But I would worry that, maybe the larger entities might actually, take that fee. They won't mind the fee, and all of a sudden the average homeowner won't be able to get the dates they want for their inspections, and they're taking time off from work. So I'm not opposed to increasing fees when they're needed, but I'm more than concerned about this one.
want me to have Kirk? call
Yeah,
you?
please. Yeah. And it sounds like it's something that's allowable by the state. That's what I was reading. But I'm thinking if it's not mandatory, then I'm not so sure I would be inclined to agree with it.
I think it also has to do with private inspectors, like if the borough couldn't handle such an inspection, that they can go out and get their own private inspector, but I don't like.
It may be an explanation for Kirk would be great.
Yeah.
I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
I can have him send you guys an email summarizing, or have him, call in at the next meeting for the introduction.
Yeah, because we know they bring in a lot of revenue within that department. So unless there's something that we're not seeing that is an extra cost that they have to cover, but it's worth getting some additional documentation on it.
I'll have him send you guys an email with the reasoning. Okay.
Just that I believe that department is supposed to run on a break even. They're not
Yeah.
supposed to take in any more money than is needed.
Okay, so we look forward to having that clarification. Thank you, Councilman Zabrowski, because I do agree with you as well. It's difficult. I know that we're stretched, and we have many, many projects that are going to be coming out of the borough that are going to require our enforcement officers to go out and do inspections, which is going to put an even bigger strain on the manpower we have for regular homeowners. So it could be very burdensome and very expensive. Thank you.
Okay, coin toss request for the corner of Washington and Ernston Road received from the Saraville Junior Bombers football for July 22nd and 23rd from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Make a motion to approve? Or just approve?
No objection.
Yeah, if there's any objections, please feel free. I'm going to let Jess just go through. If you have any questions, you can ask just to pause. Other than that, we're going to keep moving through.
If Mayor, I think Kirk is on.
Oh, Kirk, are you there? He's always on. He's always in here somewhere. Kirk, if you're on,
Raise your hand.
I see him on here. He's got his hands raised as an attend. Oh, no, that's Ruth Ann. Let me see. Is he a panelist in here?
No, it's definitely
No,
not.
I only see Ruth Ann's hand up. But if Kirk does happen to come through, Nicole, you could patch him through.
Authorization to call for a certified list for patrolmen from the Department of Personnel. Authorization to award a non-fair and open contract to Pulse Services, Inc. for the provision of licensed social worker services and counseling at the Saraville Police Department in an amount not to exceed $175,000. Authorization to award a contract to Tactical Public Safety for 2023 radio and pager maintenance through NJ State contract in an amount okay.
Is that, did we get the approval through Tom Bracken? I know there's been issues, as we know, and our first responders know. So I just want to make sure that Tom has reviewed all the issues that we may have had in the past, that he's confident and comfortable moving forward with this next
Double
contract.
check with
That's all.
Danielle. It was on her agenda. I'm sure Tom okayed it, but I will get confirmation.
Is that one that needs a resolution? The only one that doesn't have
Yeah, I left it off by accident.
Okay, Kirk is on. He's trying to raise his hand. He's on the phone. I'll give you the number that he's calling.
What's the last four numbers?
9020.
All right, I got him.
Okay, go ahead, Kirk. Unmute yourself.
Okay. Okay, hello?
We can hear you, Kirk. Go ahead.
Good evening. Yes, the state passed a statute that what happens is that a lot of towns can't do inspections within a 3-day window. We do, but the state passed a statute that contractors can hire their own contractors if a town doesn't do inspections within a 3-day period. And what that is that we would reimburse, if they had to hire their own inspectors, we would have to reimburse them the permit fees that they paid. So there's a couple of criteria to protect yourself from that happening. It really doesn't have to do with the homeowners. It has to do with the large contractors. So what it is that one, if your office consistently doesn't do inspections for 3 days, my office, even though we do need staff, we do inspections about 85% of the time the next day, and about 98.9% of the times within 2 days. Unless it's asked for beyond the 3 days, we never do the 3 days. So that's one criteria that the statute wouldn't take effect. The other criteria has that if someone wanted a weekend inspection, that you have something in your fee schedule that allows them to pay the borough to have these inspectors come off hours or on weekends or whatever. It's not a moneymaker for us. It's to cover the inspector's times. If we don't adopt that fee schedule, then we wouldn't meet one of the criteria the statute requires, and the contractors, say the warehouses, they can hire their own inspectors, and we would have to pay them back the permit fees. So
Oh, wow.
It's something that we have to adopt to protect us from the statute. And I know the Assemblyman Karabinchik, he's from Edison. He built the Sabre, the new Sabre warehouse a couple of years back. He's the one that sponsored it. I know the issues that he has. He's a contractor, and the statute doesn't really affect the borough, but we do need to adopt, in addition to our fee schedule, allowing developers and contractors to hire us to do them off hours or on weekends. And to be quite honest with you, I've been the construction official since '08, and I think I could count on one hand the amount of times we went out after hours or on a weekend to do an inspection. Usually it was an emergency situation.
Hey, Kirk, are you seeing a lot of other municipalities adopting these same type of ordinances?
Yeah, I got mine from Red Bank. What I do, I'm a member of Munco. We meet monthly through Zoom, and we had a discussion on how it should be written and how we should do it. Other towns have all kinds of different fees. We did the 300. Of course, that's basically what other towns were doing around us. Red Bank, Howell, a few other towns, but that's the fee we adopted, and that's the way to do it. Unfortunately, a lot of departments don't do it with the inspections within 3 days, and that's why the statute came about. But it has, again, I don't anticipate it. We've been doing inspections within 3 days, so that's one criteria that doesn't let the statute kick in, and then adopted this fee schedule, giving the builders an opportunity to hire inspectors off hours to cover the borough's expenses is another one of the criteria that wouldn't allow my department to fall under that statute.
And Kirk, you don't think this will translate to any additional for typical homeowners? It's more around developers.
No, only if the, honestly, I don't, I guess I'll say it, but, honestly, if the homeowners needed us in the morning or 6 o'clock at night, I mean, we all live in town. We've had instances like that with pools being installed, and we just go out and do the inspections. We don't charge the homeowners. It's really for the large developers that, the towns, and especially there's towns around us that you can't get inspections for like 6, 7, 8 business days. And the assemblyman, was tired of it. I sat in on a lot of those meetings. The developers, they don't really care about the permit fees. They care about time. And, failing an inspection and not being able to get a re-inspection, for 2 weeks or, 10 business days, it affects them. So that's what this statute's about. So to protect us from having to reimburse developers with fees, we should adopt this.
Any other, Councilman Zabrowski, did you need any more clarification or?
No, I appreciate actually that Kirk was listening and he got on us right away. And I guess my only issue was the resolution just was really not worded well from my perspective, because it wasn't clear until Kirk explained it, what this is about, which is obviously a 3-day for businesses as well as for, I guess, weekends or off hours. And I'm not sure if the resolution or the protocol, it can spell it out so the average homeowner doesn't become concerned and try to, not accommodate their schedule, but try to do something otherwise. So, but I am satisfied with the explanation.
Before we bring that up, Kirk, you already sent that over to Sean. Did you see this yet?
Yeah, I saw the draft, Mayor.
Okay, so it's not in it's going to be presented at resolution. We'll just review it again and maybe hash out anything that language wise might give the homeowner the impression of something that it's not. Because I agree, I appreciate your explanation, Kirk. It made it much more clear as far as the need for this.
Yeah, no problem. And if you need me to sit in with anybody, I'd be more than happy to.
An ordinance, and Kirk reviewed it.
Keep in mind, Mayor, as an ordinance, as you know, it would be introduced. There could be discussion on the dais, and of course, then there would be the hearing. So there is.
Of course, yes. Couple of bites at having to fine tune it if necessary. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thanks, Kirk.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, authorization to issue change order number 1 to Eco Construction for the Melrose Firehouse Improvement Contract in the amount of $28,987.12 for the replacement of a roof drain running under the slab, additional AEL testing, soil removal, and epoxy flooring. Authorization to award a contract to Starfire Corporation for the 2023 Independence Day fireworks display to be held on July 1st 2023, with a rain date of July 2nd, 2023.
A resident asked me something I've never heard of before about fireworks, silent fireworks. I've never heard of that. I don't know that we can do it this year, but I did let her know that I would bring it up and try to look into what that is and how we might do. I've never heard of it before, but I did take that that advice, and I'll look into it. I don't think there's time to do it for this year, but we'll take some time to see what that is for next year. Yeah, thank you.
Authorization to repeal section 17-2 regarding borough bathing facilities. We're trying to clean up our ordinances, and this is one of them that the Recreation Department brought to our attention. Authorization to scrap one, I don't think that's a 2022 Ford.
No. I would hope not, unless I'm really wrong.
Let me just find the correct. Is it 2002? Okay, thank you. 2002 Ford F-250 pickup truck, authorization to auction 1993 Ford F-700 K74 jet truck through Muni bid. Authorization advertised for bids for water department chemicals. Authorization to purchase water department equipment from Core and Main LLP through ESCNJ contract in an amount not to exceed $165,000. And I'll do Glenn's. Authorization to appoint Samantha Amato from Public Safety Communicator per diem to Public Safety Communicator full-time in the Police Department effective April 16th, 2023. Authorization to appoint Karina Branco to Public Safety Communicator Trainee per diem in the Police Department effective April 5th, 2023. And authorization to amend the AFSCME salary guide to add the title Senior Public Safety Telecommunicator.
You have a question on that, if you don't mind. For the next meeting, when we have discussion, can Becky Garbowski provide an explanation on how this will affect that position and the other communication operators that are already present? I think this was through a desk audit, so I
Yes.
think it's fairly clear how it was going, but there are a number of other individuals that are also can be impacted. So just an explanation so everyone knows. That's
And I,
had the same questions, and I asked Glenn before it took off. What's gonna happen is that this work is put in, we have to create. And the person who worked with the best audit will have a position provisionally, and then some service will be holding the test. And that person will test it.
Thank you, Mary. Appreciate that.
and I also did have a conversation with Acting Chief Plumacher today, and he's going to also reach out to Becky.
Perfect, thank you very much.
And that's it for me.
We're going to move over then to our CFO, Ms. Bianca Mano, please.
Just one thing, Madam Mayor, a budget transfer resolution. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Borough Engineer, Jay, anything?
No report, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Borough Attorney?
Nothing further, Mayor.
Wonderful. No need for executive session then, I also presume?
No.
And we'll go to the public portion at this time. If there's anybody else that wishes to speak, please step forward. I see none online. Is there anybody in person?
No.
Okay, then I'll entertain a motion to close the public portion.
Wait, we have one online.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Syed, please go ahead.
He needs to unmute.
Oh, just unmute for me, please.
Yeah, okay.
There you go. I can hear you, but you're a little garbledy there. So if you could just state your name and address again for me.
Talib Sayed, 3 Sophie Street, Parlin.
Thank you. Go ahead. We can hear you now.
Pertaining to a specific topic which you just discussed, or it's a general question, you're welcoming any question?
We're welcoming any questions at this time. It's the regular public.
So my question is about our Councilwomen's investigation, death investigation, murder investigation. Do you have any update on that?
So I actually gave a brief update as far as I know, and a little bit earlier in our meeting, and unfortunately, I have not been made aware of any additional information out of the prosecutor's office at this point, which is the lead investigator in this particular case. It is frustrating. I've made it very clear that I get frustrated over the lack of communication, but I do understand that they are doing the work that they need to do. I also expressed earlier with regard to the Crime Stoppers that I reached out to, that at this time, the prosecutor's office does not feel it's in the best interest of their investigation to turn around and offer a tip line or reward. Again, I'll refrain from my opinions on that, but it saddens me. And one of my biggest concerns is that I worry that Councilwoman June Forrest's name will be forgotten. I don't believe that will happen. I really, truly hope that the people in this town know how important it is that we come together and we solve this murder. And
I'm sorry to interrupt you. So various times it happens that either prosecutor or the chief of police in different cities as responsible individuals in the law enforcement environment or areas, they come by and do their either briefing. We haven't heard any of those types of events in Cedarville. Do you think you can call one press conference, including the chief and the prosecutor? Because after all, it's our town, and I have seen many times that mayor and police chief and other related representative of the departments that are law enforcement departments, along with the administrative officers or individuals and politicians, they call press conference. This way it becomes more public, and perhaps it is going to give update to Cedarville resident.
It's a great question and a great suggestion. I have no problem giving an update. The only problem is I don't have any updates because I get zero information from the prosecutor's office. And I also do not get any information from the Cedarville Police Department because I am not involved in the actual investigation itself. I have already expressed my concern, and I've expressed very publicly to our chief also regarding the prosecutor's decision to not want to give a press conference. That is her decision. Unfortunately, I can't persuade her otherwise. She has to do what she feels is right in her capacity. But it's upsetting and it's frustrating. I have spoken to the press as I felt was appropriate. And it pains me and it hurts me because I really do feel like my back is and our community is dying to hear something. I'm not saying that we need to know exactly what's being investigated right now, because the most important thing is that we catch a killer. And they need to protect that investigation as much as they can so that we can get the person that's responsible for this. But I do think a lot can be said if the prosecutor, whether that be in conjunction with our police chief or police officers, come together and just let the public know we have not forgotten. We are working every day. This is still a priority. Eunice has not been forgotten. At the very least, that has been my plea. But that's how I feel. I can't just turn around and say, as the mayor, I'm calling a press conference in reference to Eunice's murder, because I have zero authority to speak on behalf of that. And I don't.
As much as trust we have upon you officials, our elected officials, but at the meantime, it seems like it is just a talk. I'm not sure what degree of serious investigation at the back end it is going on, and public is not made aware of it. And of course, there might be some logistics of it. However, I believe we as a taxpayer, we pay our taxes to run these offices, operate these offices, and whatnot. So I think this would be a service to community to update coming from the officials that, hey, this is stage we are, or we are whatever that's was my question, and my feeling and my input.
You know how I feel, Mr. Syed. I want a press conference. I want as much information as possible that is going to lead to a conviction and to catching the person. I personally contacted Crime Stoppers, not knowing they were a division of the prosecutor's office here in Middlesex County. I personally have met with the family. I'm excited and relieved for the family that they actually have now somebody representing them and being able to be a victim's advocate with Mr. Wisniewski, who I believe is working with them daily. I've met with their pastor. I've met with everybody. I don't know how the rest of the council feels in reference to this. I can only speak for myself. I just feel like we need more answers. I know it's going to take time, but at least something. At least hear from the prosecutor. We are working every single day. I would love to see Eunice's face on their webpage. Go onto prosecutor's page, the Crime Stopper page, and it has a list of unsolved cases that they're working on. The last time I checked, it was, I think, about 3 days ago, and there was nothing on there regarding Councilwoman June 4.
Okay.
And it hurts me and it pains me and it leaves me not feeling good about this. So as residents, let's continue to say her name. Let's continue to let people know we have not forgotten, and we are going to do what we have to bring her justice.
Absolutely. We will not forget.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else from the public at this point or from the council? I don't know if anybody else wishes to speak on that.
I move the public portion be closed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Motion to adjourn.
Turn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ladies and gentlemen, go in peace.